Formula One, Formula Drift, and a rider herself, please welcome to the Dealer Evolution stage, Laurette Nicoll.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This panel is Selling the Dream, and I'm really excited to introduce 3 of our OEMs who have built strong brand cultures and loyal rider communities around their products. So, if I can please bring up to the stage first, Jason Chinnock, the CEO of Ducati North America. John Hinz, KTM CEO of North America. And of course, Andrea Gucciardi, CEO of Piaggio Americas. Hello, Andrea. So, selling the dream. Jason, I'd like to start with you because we had a call in early December, and one of the first questions was, what do we want to accomplish here? And your answer immediately was industry, investing into the client experience and profitability of dealers. So what does that mean to you?
I mean, when you think about this, we're in the motorcycling business because we like motorcycles. At the end of the day, it's a business, but we bring joy to people's lives. And in order for us to do that, it does obviously come at some sort of a cost. And when I look at the opportunities that we have within our dealer network, it's to create those experiences where we're not just selling product. We're not moving metal. We're not moving just apparel and accessories. But we're giving them a reason to be part of this community and be part of this sport or this business. And we do that by having fun. And creating those environments inside the dealerships where you have that sense of community and you have people that come to the dealership as that center of excellence, as the place where people come to learn about the dealership or learn about what the roads are in the area, to learn about who to go ride with. That requires an investment at the dealership in terms of the personnel, but also from the OEM's perspective, support them in that.
Right, absolutely. And of course, with that fun, you also mentioned profitability. Andrea, on that same call, you and John both agreed that when you mentioned dealer profitability, that was of utmost importance. What can a dealer control?
I think dealer can control the profitability directly. The key is the proper approach to the market, consistent with the brand message. And I would like to talk about the multi-channel profitability. I mean, not just the new vehicle sales, but the other channel, the after sales, the service, the apparel, the accessories, the insurance, financial services, and last but not the least, the used bike. Focusing and fully exploiting all these channels, I think the dealer can build a solid and consistent profitability.
Okay. And how do you think dealers can connect with customers on a deeper level? I'm going to ask you, Andrea, first, and then, John, I'm going to ask you that.
I think I see the dealer as the brand local hero. We have to connect with the customer in a genuine way, maybe joining the customer where they live and enjoy. So partnership with social club, sporting club, cafes, restaurants, hotels are crucial because we talk with the customer in their path, and it's easier to engage and establish a genuine relationship with the customers. Then those partners can become genuine ambassadors. They meet every day 100 people, and they can, let me say, engage the customer because the customer, they have the truth of the customer. And doing event with these partners is crucial because the events are more effective because we engage the customer where they have fun and where they enjoy their life.
Yep, absolutely. And John, to Andrea's point, how important are dealers to connecting riders to your brand and your story?
It's absolutely critical, and especially with not only our brand, but I think all of our brands, there's a deep emotional connection that our customers have to our brands and our products and to their local dealer. And we view that relationship with the local dealer as a partnership. The business does not work without the dealers. As you've got it up on the board, there's certain channels and everyone has a role in each channel. And as an OEM, we actually don't sell anything to end consumer. We sell to our dealer network, and our dealer network is our partner. And I think Sam Dantzler said it really nicely last year when he walked in the show. He's like, I just feel good. Like when you come in here, you feel good, you feel energy. And we talk to our dealers about that. That's one of the things I think about our business is there's an emotion behind it. There's an emotional connection. And dealers that find that balance between high quality business and connecting to the passion and emotion of our sport and that customer, that's when there's magic. Is when you have just the rational side of business and you're an automotive dealer and you're clicking through and in F&I and out, like there's no emotional connection or relationship with that customer. But if you're the other side and you don't have the operational expertise to run the business and be profitable and continue to invest for your customers, that doesn't work either. So I think it's that harmony of business excellence and passion and emotion and connection to the sport. And as our industry, when we find that, that's when there's real magic for us, our dealers, for our customers, for our industry. I think that's a key recipe for success there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I think you've absolutely touched upon what my next question is. But we've been talking a lot about what dealers can do. And so, John and Jason, I wanted to get your thought on what the roles of both the OEMs and the dealerships are in helping to foster a deep connection to our sport. Jason, what's your take?
I mean, the role of the manufacturer is really to, I would say, on a national level or even on a global level to some degree, but for us on a national level, is to set the tone and the expectations of the brand, and really to reach to everybody on that level where you are evoking an emotion that hopefully inspires them to learn more, and the dealership is just the extension of that.
Sure.
So, I love the term partner, and that's something that we look at. And even when we think about the people that purchase our motorcycles, we consider them fans or clients. And so it's so important that it doesn't stop when they leave a MotoGP race and see us at Ducati Island, that when they walk into their dealership, that what they just experienced there is an extension of actually what they had at our event. And so I think that the dealer plays that critical role on being the extension and actually delivering on the dream that we set up for them. And it's our job to provide the dealer with tools to support them in order to be able to learn how to engage and actually to bring them to some of our events as well so that they can actually understand the experience. I mean, as an example, this weekend, we're bringing our top 17 dealers across North America for off-road to Anaheim 1 for the Supercross races this weekend. And my goal from that, of course, is to get them all fired up, but I want them to go to all of their corners of all over North America and to take that same experience they had here and recreate it locally. So really, that's I would say the OEM and the dealer role in how we engage the community in the market.
Okay. John, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think just to build on it, as an OEM, obviously, we're investing in the brand. We own the brand, and we're bringing that brand to life through our products. The product is the best transporter of the brand. And just like Jason mentioned, I believe our role is awareness and image building on a global and national level. And we drive the foot traffic to the front door of the dealership, and we work in combination with our dealers to do that. So we're working on a global or national level to build this image and brand awareness and create that emotion and connection to come into one of our partners, one of our dealers around the nation, and at the same time giving them the tools and resources to activate locally to connect to that customer that sees this global or national image activity like Supercross or MotoGP that we're all participating in, and connect to them on a local level and say, come to my store. And what we call is the last 3 feet. When that customer crosses the threshold of the dealership, that's the last 3 feet. And at that point, basically as an OEM, we've done what we can do to bring the customer there.
Sure.
We've worked together on bringing them to the last 3 feet. But once they enter the dealership, then it's really with the dealer to connect and build that emotional connection and relationship with that customer.
Yep, makes sense. Andrea, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, being the third is tough because I risk to repeat what my colleague
Sure.
told. So I can add something in this sense. To connect the customer with the motorsport, I think the sense of community is fundamental. So we organizing track events together with a lot of customers. They have the possibility to share their life experience, real life experience in a community. So it's not just a matter of engage a customer to sell a bike, but we are giving to the customer something more. And this can contribute to connect the customer to the motorsport environment long term.
Okay. I'm going to start with you first, so you're not third on this question.
Can I add to motorsport, though? Because motorsport is the single largest marketing investment that our company makes, and I can't speak for my colleagues here, but I would guess it's a substantial investment for them as well, and that connection in motorsports and connection to our brand via our product that's one of like the deepest rooted emotional connections for our dealers and our customers. And like you mentioned, dealers coming, we've got a full list of dealers that are here and coming to Anaheim 1 to be a part of the show and experience the kickoff of the Supercross season, and for our fans to connect to the athletes and the athlete to draw them into the brand and the product for that retention side of the business and retaining that customer inside our ecosystem, inside the industry and our brands, and then ultimately inside your dealership. The motorsports activity is critical to that whole ecosystem working in that customer retention activity.
Absolutely. So to that point, Andrea, how do we keep riders inspired? And is there a problem?
It's not a problem. Again, to keep customer inspired, I think that we should focus again on not just selling bikes to them, but offering an outstanding experience. It means the community, the passion, sharing experiences is fundamental to inspire customer. And in this sense, I have to say that we have to be prepared. We as OEM, dealer, salesperson, we have to be prepared, and we have to know exactly the brand values we represent. So we have to convey the right message with passion and with professionalism. And in this way, we can inspire the customer properly.
Absolutely. John, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I want to build on that.
With
I like
him.
this. We talk a lot about not only the experience, but experience and convenience. And I think our kind of lifestyle that we're all a part of right now, convenience is attributed to low cost. So there's Amazon and Walmart and big department stores, and so low cost, convenient, easy to get, easy access. But there's a change where customers kind of went all the way towards that, and they're coming back towards experiences. And that's where you see concerts now selling out, and you see events selling out, and experiential rides, and going to the track, and the activities that we do as an industry. Customers they're looking for that, they're yearning for that, and they want to pay for that. And those experiences translate into memories, and those memories are the tactile things that stay with customers forever. And when you talk about like what's happening with customers, how do you bring more in? You have those events and create that memory, and they say next time, Laurette, you got to come to the AIM show, you got to come to Anaheim 1, you got to come to a MotoGP, you have to come to our dealership ride day or our barbecue cookout, and it's a great event, you're going to love it there. And I still have memories of going to the Honda Yamaha dealership in South St. Paul, Minnesota with my dad, and like it's like a crystal clear memory of walking in and seeing all these brand new motorcycles and all the parts and all the things I wanted and couldn't have. And those memories stay with people forever. And I think as a society, experiences are becoming very, very real. And people, they're looking for them, they want them, they're yearning for them, and they're willing to pay for that. And as an industry and as a dealer, how can we create that experience and do it to provide value, and at the same time be profitable with it, and give that value back to the customer for what they're paying for.
Absolutely. And Jason, you're obviously trying to inspire your dealers by bringing them to Anaheim 1. I mean, what an incredible experience that's going to be. How do you hope to inspire the future riders that are coming to Ducati?
I mean, I think that we go back to the topic of motorsports. I mean, motorsports, we get the opportunity to create heroes for people. And without a doubt, it's one of our largest investments in terms of our marketing and communications as well. And I think that that's where you have that opportunity to inspire writers. Now, not everybody is going to go up there and be a Marc Marquez. We know this. It's not, but you can aspire to be that. And actually, as the brand, the way that we position ourselves, we are an aspirational brand. We know that we're not necessarily going to get somebody's very first motorcycling experience is not likely a Ducati. Now, there are some statistics that prove otherwise, but at the end of the day, people aspire to be a motorcyclist, and by creating those heroes, you have the opportunity to do so. But I wanted to touch, actually, going back on this topic also of the roles in here, and it really comes down to the people. At the end of the day, the people that are in the dealership, and I actually see some people from some of our dealerships here, and I have never bought a motorcycle, and I've been a motorcyclist for my entire life. I've never bought a motorcycle from a motorcycle dealership. I bought it from a person.
Okay.
I bought it from a person. I could tell you the people who, every individual that sold me a motorcycle. And actually at that point, it wasn't about best price. Call here for best price last. It was, how did they make me feel? What did I feel like I was buying besides the motorcycle itself?
Sure.
We say this at Ducati, the motorcycle is just the key to the opening the world of what we're here to offer. And in fact, all the things that are out here, I mean, I love seeing all the stuff, right? At the end of the day, well, all this stuff does is it actually enables you to have an experience, as we were talking about before, and those experiences leave lasting memories. And those people, and investing in the people in the dealership and having that retention. I mean, even in our organization, you know, it's tough. There's everyone out there trying to take everybody else, different industries that pay better, and I understand all of that. We deal with it the same way ourselves. But if you build a culture within your dealership of having the right people that take care of their clients and realize that's a relationship, it's not just a transaction, then I think that those people at the dealerships are going to inspire, and of course word is going to spread, and you're going to get so many other people. The best salesperson is actually not the one at the dealership, it's the person who just had an amazing experience buying that motorcycle and telling everybody about that experience. And like I said, we all sell amazing products, and we have a great dealer network, but the experience that it's delivered, you know, the products are the same, the showrooms are largely the same, the difference is the people. So.
Well, I'm going to pivot to tariffs. I think it would be a little bit remiss to not talk about it, and it feels like OEMs and dealers are both getting squeezed by tariffs right now. What can dealers control within their walls, John?
Tariffs is a big topic.
Yeah.
I think for all of us. I see Scott Schlegel here. Scott, raise your hand so everyone can see you.
Hi, Scott.
Scott's Vice President of Government Relations for Motorcycle Industry Council, and he is for sure an expert in the industry on tariffs. Unfortunately, I think anyone that's doing business right now in America that's importing something has needed to become an expert on tariffs. The tariff topic is very real. It is affecting our industry. There's tariffs on certain categories of motorcycles that affect certain manufacturers. There's tariffs on steel and aluminum that affect all the imported parts on steel and aluminum. You have to understand the content and the value of all those, and those are real costs that companies are absorbing to support our industry right now and to support our dealers, and we know the dealers are absorbing many of them as well. There's also some price increases that have to be passed through to support it over time, but we'll see. There's a lot of actions that are happening. Of course, there's a Supreme Court ruling that's coming on AIPA, which is the mechanism that the administration used for the reciprocal tariffs. So the Supreme Court will be ruling on that hopefully very soon. Scott, we were hoping by the end of the year, but it sounds like maybe in Q1 here. We'll hear something along those lines. But in terms of what we all can do as an industry, I'm on the MIC board. Scott is leading the GR team in Washington, D.C. There's a Motorcycle Industry Council fly-in in Washington, D.C. I've attended it for years. It's fantastic. You get to go out and meet with your congressional members and have a discussion with them and let them know how tariffs are impacting you at your local store, in your local region, your business, what's happening, and ask them for help and build that relationship with your congressional members. So I would highly encourage you to do that. If you need any information at all on those actions and what the Motorcycle Industry Council and Scott's team have been doing, they're out there fighting it every single day. As a member of the MIC, you should be getting your reports, ride reports, and MIC updates on what's happening and what the most current regulations and legislation is right now. But if you need anything, Scott can help. I can direct you to the right people. I think as an industry, we're all heavily invested in this. It's a major topic, and what we want to do is ensure the product can continue to come into the United States, continue to support our dealers, support our customers. Great product at a great value, and so having those discussions with congressional members and letting them know how it impacts our industry and business is critical.
So to your point, in addition to having more conversations with your Congress folks, what are you three as OEMs doing to combat the tariffs to help the dealers? Jason,
at the end of the day, we have to absorb this. We can't absorb it entirely. Some of it is passed on to the clients. But I think all of us have been in a situation, I can't speak for you guys, but I know we're in the same boat with all of this. What have we been doing to combat it? I think the most important thing that we can do, we have to absorb some of it. We have to pass some of it on to the clients. It's inevitable. As much as I would love to have said, we fought it and we won, the reality is that that's not the situation.
Sure.
I think the most important thing is that that we are, as John was saying, we're there at the fly-in DC, and my hat goes off to Scott because we're out there, but we are the OEM. And at the end of the day, if I'm sitting in front of somebody that's from, let's call it a local representative in Congress or in the House of Senate, or House of Representatives, then we end up having these people that they're looking at us as the OEM. So a lot of what I had to say was, let me talk to you about how this impacts you on Main Street, how it impacts the local community, how it impacts the dealer, how it impacts how that dealership who has all of these people and all these families and what they do for the local community. And I think that that's my opportunity to speak on behalf, and the Scott's team was excellent setting us up with different people from different, where our dealerships are located. I remember sitting down talking to one of the representatives where I said, our dealer, Pro Italia in Burbank, and she's like, oh, I know, I used to have a scooter on Verdun. And so when I make those connections with those people, then they actually understand. This is not just about companies trying to push things through, it's about how it impacts real people. So I highly recommend, in any case that you can be involved, the fly-in is probably the most impactful thing that I see there. But any which way, because we've even had our Ducati Newport Beach dealer, we had the local congressman actually go visit the dealership after we came out there. Those sorts of things and bringing attention to it and understanding the impact, I think, is what we all can do together, not just the OEMs, but OEMs working with the dealers.
Yep. John, do you have anything to add to that?
I think you summarized that really nice. I was actually in the meeting. We were in it together where we were meeting with that particular congressional member. In terms of other things that we're doing about it, like the way that we look at the business, it's on a global level. So there's global sourcing, there's global manufacturing. So now we're forced to look at what are options for the organization. Where can we find some savings that are outside of some of the tariff regulations? How can we analyze our product SKUs and the material usage in the products differently? And as Jason mentioned, I mentioned earlier, how can we absorb more of it to continue to provide the product here in the United States at a competitive value and deliver for our dealers and our customers? But truly, every single dealer, Main Street, America, that is the impact. When you talk to the congressional members, that's what they want to know about. They want to know, how does this impact the businesses in my district? How does it impact the employees, the families? And it makes such a difference to have a large group engaged at all levels of the industry, just like we have on the board, from OEMs to sponsors to partners to dealers to even end consumers talking about it, because ultimately they're paying the bill. Everybody's paying a portion of it, in having that engagement on a congressional level. And the Motorcycle Industry Council fly-in, Scott and his team do an amazing job of setting up the visits and making it easy, if you've never been out to DC before, to go in and talk to a congressional member and have a great conversation and let them know how it impacts your business.
For sure. And Andrea?
Yes, I can confirm what my colleagues told. The tariffs are heavily impacting our business. Our job is to do lobbying, and we are absorbing the majority of this impact in order to make the business still smooth for dealers. What I can say, I cannot control the tariffs. It's something above me. So I think now my message, it's important to focus on the basics, offering qualitative products and outstanding experience in sales and after sales can make our dealership consistent even in this tough time.
Okay. Do you see other factors that are affecting the industry besides tariffs that the industry should be looking to protect themselves from? Are there outside forces besides tariffs, or tariffs are the ones that we really need to focus on right now?
I mean, I'll speak up to that. I actually, in regards to tariffs, we're aware of it. It's happened. We need to get back to business.
Yep.
That's how I look at it. We find solutions. We're going to continue to fight the fight. We're not just going to sit on our hands and let it happen to us. But we also can't be afraid of what else is going on out there. We have to create excitement and engagement. And as much as I'm sure all of us do our fair share of media. As much as media would love to talk about the fears associated to things, at the end of the day, we're not in that business. Let's remember, we're not in transportation. Very few people buy our motorcycles to go from point A to point B because it's the most efficient way to do it. It's about having fun and smiles per mile. So we have to create that excitement. The other things that are the threats, I'm going to say I'm more concerned about what other people are doing with their discretionary spending and not motorcycling. To me, I want to get those people off the couch, those people out of the hot tub, those people out of the ski resorts and going and buying a motorcycle. That, to me, is more exciting and encouraging, and where we should be shifting our efforts to be that escape for people, that choice of fun. And sadly, talking about tariffs is nothing that anybody wants to deal with. We dealt with it. Now it's time for us to move on and get to business. And so for me, we always will have, Scott's team does a great job of keeping us up to date on every sort of new legislation that's happening. I just read a couple this morning for New Jersey and Florida of every little thing that's happening. That will always be there. That's a constant. And we were talking about, you can control what happens within your four walls, not what happens out there. We'll do our best to influence it, but let's focus on what we can do between the OEM and the dealership and what we can control in the environment. And I think that regardless of what happens in the outside world, we're going to be okay.
Yep, love that. Andrea, you look like you have a thought.
For us, European producer, this uncertainty, these tariffs, there is some technical effect because we buy in euro, we sell in dollars, so the exchange is impacting heavily our business. We are absorbing the majority of this impact. Now, again, I want to repeat this message. You have to stay close and we have to focus on the basics because this is the only way we can overcome this tough time. It's very tough.
Yep, honestly. It is. But we are, sorry about that. I just came in hot. We are fighters. We are scrappy. This is what we do, so we've got this. As far as trends, what are some trends that you are seeing? You mentioned transportation, and on our call, we were talking about a couple of different trends like women riders and coming in and transportation. So let's talk about what you guys are seeing there. Who wants to start?
I can grab it. Definitely one of the trends that we've seen, and we've been monitoring this and watching. We actually talked about it last year here. Is small displacement. Street is a massive trend right now, and we're seeing a switch from some of the larger displacement models down to small displacement. Travel is still a great segment in terms of the vibrancy, the amount of retail interest, the aftermarket participation in it, particularly small travel, smaller in this kind of, I would call it twin cylinder, 400cc to 800cc range, but both street and adventure motorcycles. Off-road continues to be incredibly vibrant. Jason can talk a little bit about the event they had last night. Ducati's entering Supercross Motocross series for the first time ever. I think this last year there was 10 different OEMs that were racing motocross. Might have been the first time since the 70s there was that many OEMs that were racing at one time. So the off-road racing is incredibly vibrant right now. Races are full. People are out riding. They're riding their motorcycles. They're coming back into dealerships. They're buying parts. They need service. Like the cycle is engaged right now. From a Supercross motocross perspective, the SMX series has done a fantastic job over the last 4 years. and that continues to grow and gain momentum in terms of viewership and on-site attendance. So MotoGP we're all participating in. It's the premier series. Liberty Media just purchased that series, and they own Formula One, as you know, and we're all looking forward to bringing the MotoGP series and the pinnacle motorcycle racing series globally up to the level of four-wheel and Formula One. So there's so many great, optimistic bright spots in our industry right now in different segments and categories, both with the product and with racing.
Yep, absolutely. Andrea?
No, I see this small displacement increasing in the latest time, and it's interesting that experienced riders are choosing the small displacement, not because of budget reason, because of the content, because the small displacement are very well equipped with technologically advanced, and the experienced rider have this valuable alternative, not only for beginners, but for the entire customer panel. That's why I think there is this trend.
Okay. Jason, besides small displacement?
I think actually we're a completely different category in terms of this. What we're seeing is we have a massive trend for collectible motorcycles. And it's actually one of those sorts of things that as a brand, it's never really existed too much in the motorcycling industry. We know this in the world of automotive. But one of the things that we've been celebrating our heritage this year is our 100th anniversary for Ducati, which is incredible to think that we've been on the planet for 100 years here this year, celebrating July 4th. But as a result of this, we'll have a series of different motorcycles that will actually celebrate the centenario of Ducati. So all these different milestones of history. But we've consistently brought all of these collectible motorcycles to market. And sometimes I've heard some comments of like, oh, we're getting a little bit of exhaustion about this. But then every time we come out with a new one, that it sells out. So is it exhaustion, or is it just that we're too close to it? So I think that is something that's really cool, because people are actually interested in learning about not just the product and what it can do for them, but the stories that are behind the product. And I would say that the last piece outside of the trends of product, and it's something that we've seen consistently, we've been talking about it as a theme for this since the pandemic. I think people are, which completely contradicts what I just said, but they're less interested in owning stuff and more interested in actually what it provides them and engages them. And we've seen a shift of even our client experience programs where our clients, they sell out now. And we get waiting lists for people that are interested in being parts of these experiences. And you were talking about this, John, they're willing to pay for it. They will not hesitate. If they know that they're going to get a good experience and they know that you're going to take them on a journey or an adventure that's something that maybe they could probably figure out on their own, but they don't want to. I mean, we're all busy people with life. I just want to show up and somebody point me the right direction and let me create this memory. That is something that people love, and they're willing to pay for those experiences. So, and I think that as a dealer, there's a perfect opportunity for you to find ways to replicate that as well. I came from a dealership myself, and so we did those things for our clients. We would ride them over the tops of mountains, and we would buy them lunch somewhere. And I always thought that we had to do this for them as a customer appreciation or client appreciation ride. But at the end of the day, if you give them an experience, they have no hesitation in paying for it as well. And I think that's a game changer that's happened in the last 5-6 years since the pandemic. We all thought we had to invest into it, and we invest with our time, our planning, and our people, and giving the right experience.
Right. And I think with the experience, of course, a motorcycle is needed for that. And Andrea, I think this is a perfect opportunity to talk about innovation and the factory renovation and what your company is doing.
Yes, about innovation for us is not just a word. We are investing globally in the innovation, and I want to mention a couple of things we are doing. We recently built a new factory, Moto Guzzi factory in Mandello del Lario, close to the Como Lake, where Moto Guzzi was born. It's not just a factory, it's an hub of experience, is a training center, even is a museum. So we want to spread from this place the Moto Guzzi culture. And of course, we will produce the next generation of Moto Guzzi bikes, advanced, which fit perfectly for the American market. And I want to mention another experience we are having innovation. We have in the US a company, Piaggio Fast Forward, which is engaged in robotics and equipment for riders. In this company, we invest in the future. So we try to understand what will be the future of mobility in order to not follow the future, but shape the future. And is an investment, but long term is valuable.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Looking towards the future, I was wondering what your opinions are on some of the upcoming opportunities that we could have for 2026. And Andrea, I'd like to start with you.
For 2026, we started some activity and a track. This year in 2025, we have not a capillary dealer network. So we increased the dealer network to be more capillary. We are not at the level of KTM or Ducati, we are less dealers. So we want to increase and expand our dealer network more. And I think I want to focus on dealer support. I want to listen more to the dealer, embrace their challenging, share their challenge, share the challenge in order to be supportive. Because the more the OEM support the dealer, the more the dealer support the customer. And this is our goal, to support the customer, to engage the customer.
Of course. And John, what are some opportunities that you see for 2026?
I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most out of 2026 is actually a healthy, strong, vibrant industry. And where that comes from is if you go back over the past couple of years with the COVID spike and the full, complete retail of all inventory at dealerships and the backfill from OEMs and suppliers on parts and inventory and trying to right-size that and understand what is that new water level and what is that mark of the right amount of inventory, what's the retail demand there from our consumer base and from our industry. I think our industry has found that over this past year. And I think as OEMs and aftermarket suppliers to the industry, we've taken hard decisions as a group in terms of our production capacity, production numbers to right size the right inventory again coming out of that big COVID spike. And I feel like our industry is at a really, really good spot right now in talking with our dealers. Their inventory is good. The inventory they have is the right inventory. Production cycles are coming back in line again. And I think the industry is in a really good, healthy spot for profitability and for the future.
Yeah, that must make people feel a lot better to hear that. And Jason, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I'd say what we started with actually earlier, and that's the topic of profitability. It's actually one of the things that we know that the size of the market is one of those things that we can't control. We're going to do our best to do so. But it's really our objective to make sure that every dealer has every opportunity to sell every single motorcycle at the highest profit potential. Sure. And I remember being a young guy at a motorcycle dealership, and a dealership in Seattle told me, I give everybody a chance to pay full retail plus. Give them the chance. So start there, and remember that it's not just about moving the metal. I know that there are times you're going to have to get that bike it's had a birthday, God forbid, and it needs to find a new home, and those days will happen.
Sure.
But it's the responsibility of the manufacturers, as we were talking about, balancing inventory, keeping it right-sized in order to make sure there's not too much out there. But then also, at the dealership, remember, sell that experience. Sell the opportunity of what they're buying besides just the machine, and then the opportunity for the profitability, which allows them to invest back into their dealership comes. And I mean, as a result, this year we're actually doing a program with some of a select group of our dealers so that we can actually understand, by category, where they're making money. By models, by their apparel, their accessories, spare parts. And if we have a better understanding of that, we can actually help shape our business and how we support them. In addition, we can shape the programs, the tools, and even it might have influence on product. Because at the end of the day, if we're all selling a model that we might all love that doesn't make money, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, it's a business. We have to be profitable, because it requires an investment back into those experiences. So focusing on that point of profitability within our network and giving everybody that opportunity. And one thing we measure is residual values. as well, so we understand after that motorcycle sold, what is it worth in 2 to 3 years? Because then it makes it even, you might say, why does that matter? Because we don't make any money off of that. Actually, when that customer, that client comes to trade the bike back in, that value of the bike and the ability for the dealer to resell it is actually, that's a big, big step for that client. And if they know, hey, if I buy this bike, I can come back in and I get X amount of value back out of it, that's something that gives the client confidence as well. But we have to sell it profitably the first time to even give it a chance to actually keep a residual value.
Yep,
so.
Exactly. Well, I know that we wanted to end the panel on lifestyle and how that can fit into the success of everything that we talked about here today. So, John, I'd like to start with you, talking about lifestyle and how that's going to offer success for the future.
I think when we talk about the word lifestyle, it's more like, what do you do with your life? Like, I've had this discussion with our team. I don't have a great work-life balance because for me, everything is just life. And I work, I've got a great family, beautiful family, but when I'm at home and I'm not at work, I'm normally watching racing, riding my dirt bikes, riding bicycles, hanging out with my kids and my family, talking to people on phone, talking to dealers, talking to colleagues. And for me, it's just life. And I think when you talk about a lifestyle, like live what you love. And we love this industry. It's an amazing industry. We're all so passionate about it. I think most of us got into it because we fell in love with motorcycles or power sports, and we fundamentally found a way to make a living inside this amazing industry, which is incredible. And remember that, like, go back to that connection, that passion that we all have for this industry, our love of motorcycling, and the energy it brings us, and the community that we're a part of. And if you love what you do and you live that every day, then you'll transmit that to your staff, to your customers, to your business, and you'll find success together.
Yep, amazing. Well, we've just a minute left. Do you two want to add anything to the lifestyle?
Lifestyle, I think that it's about passion. It's about sharing experiences, and the vehicle, the bike is not the center of the experience is the center. Then we can tell something through bike, and we have within our brand portfolio some good example, because Vespa is about lifestyle. So it's not, let me say, a sophisticated bike. No, it's, I don't want to say just lifestyle, but lifestyle is the key driver. And we are rebranding the Vespa brand, focusing on lifestyle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Jason, anything you'd like
I mean,
to
I think that both comments were actually very valid in terms of we all share that a similar thread there. And I'd say the only other thing is that we know that this is an extension of not only ourselves, but of our clients. So what they choose to do with their free time and how they spend their money is the lifestyle and how they want to project themselves. So for us to project ourselves to be out there and at the races and actually to have these experiences, you at the dealerships, you know, I mean, you need to make sure the people you have out there are riding or actually even living this. I see a couple journalists that I know here, we dropped motorcycles together riding over mountain passes in Colorado and helped each other out because we live it. And I think that authenticity is such an important part. Once again, it's not about moving two wheels. I mean, there's that saying, 4 wheels moves the body, 2 wheels moves the soul. Let's remember that we're actually in this because it's not a rational thing that we're doing. You know, we try to rationalize it to ourselves because we love it, right? And maybe we could say we have to ride because it's for our mental health. But at the end of the day, we're doing this because we love it. This is an emotional experience. Trying to rationalize it unless someone's trying to get a cosigner is really irrelevant. So really remember that you need to translate that out, and it starts with us. You know, you go back to that question about asking about the OEM's role and the dealer's role. If we don't live it, I mean, all the way up to the top of my organization, we all live what we do here. And that needs to be conveyed all the way through in order to be able to have people realize that it is who we are. It's not just part of who we are. It's our identity. So.
Love that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hearing us selling the dream. Jason Chinnock, John Hinz and Andrea Gucciardi. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.